Let's start off with our attendance around the room, please, starting over in our corner.
Good morning. Adam Miller, Director of Education Technology for the school district.
Karen Brill, Palm Beach County School Board, District 3.
Tom Wally, Palm Beach County School District, representing the TAC Committee.
Sharon Schneiderman, PTA.
Maria Antuna, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Warren Dans, representing the Coalition of Western Boynton Residential Associations.
George Elmore, Economic Council.
Michelle Jacobs, Economic Council.
Tim Sayre, representing Acreage Landowners Association.
Wanda Paul, Chief Operating Officer, School District.
David Porter, representing Cork.
Leanne Evans, School District Treasurer.
Mike Burke, CFO.
Eddie Rose, Tri-City Education Glaze Community.
David Dolan, Deputy Chief Facilities Management for the school district.
Susan Athley, Principal Dreyfus School of the Arts, representing the Principals Association.
Scott Singer, Mayor of Boca Raton from the League of Cities.
Lori Vinacore, Alliance of Delray Residential Associations.
Jesse Sagnon, representing Florida Atlantic University.
Or Littlejohn from the Office of General Counsel. Thank you. We need public members now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Public members? Announce yourselves, please.
Is somebody over there?
I think we have a man who needs no introduction. Mr. Mara. We're just doing introductions.
Andrew Marr from the Palm Beach Post.
Okay. All right. You have anything, public comments? Yes? Go to there.
Oh, public comments, yeah.
Okay, public comments. Anyone with public comments? Okay, seeing none. Discussion items, minutes. Anyone with issues on the minutes of this meeting? Seeing none, they're accepted as is. Sales tax summary. Leanne, I think you're on.
I'm on. Thank you all very much. I was worried about a quorum today, and I didn't need to be, so I'm really happy to see all of you here today. Before I jump into the reports, I did want to show you, this is a newsletter that was put out by the school district in the month of October. It's available online, but I wanted you to have a copy of it as well. I know everyone here has commented we need to make sure we're getting news out to the public about how the referendum's working, and this is an example of what we're putting out. In addition to the many, many tweets and Facebook pages and videos, this is just a newsletter that was sent out. There's lots of links here, which I'm not going to click on today, but the link to this is on the committee website, so you can get to it there. And if you click on Your Penny at Work on the school district page, they have this one as well as one other newsletter. So I'm sure our communications department is working on getting these out on a regular basis, so you'll be seeing those. And then I'm going to go ahead, after a few meetings ago, you all said rather than go through all the reports, you wanted a summary. And then we'll dig to the reports if we need to. So this is the summary. The sales tax receipts are still ahead of schedule. We're at about 112% of projections. And as I say at every meeting, don't get too excited. That's great news. If it continues, we would be shutting it down a year early, but we've got a long time to go before that decision is made, and there are economic cycles, and I don't guarantee that this is going to continue, but it's good that it's happening now at the beginning. We've collected 15.92% of the total receipts that we'd expected to collect. Expenditures and interest earnings through September, we've spent $59 million. We have interest earnings of $2.4 million. So those interest earnings, we're not spending those. We're setting those aside because I do expect we will be doing a borrowing at some point during this fiscal year, and we'll bring that back to the committee. We need to do that because even if we don't need the cash, the borrowing needs to be in place in order to issue purchase orders for projects. So it's a rule that school districts have to live with. We have to have the money there before we can issue contracts, even if it's not a cash issue. So we'll be setting something up. We may not draw on it, but we'll need to get it set up. And eventually we will draw on it, and we'll use interest earnings to offset the interest expense. Hopefully that works out well for us.
So you have to have a loan to be able to go for contracts, even though you'll never use the loan, possibly.
Right. But chances are, based on everything I'm looking at, we're going to need it. And what I'm looking at, there's lots of different ways to borrow, and the Finance Committee is the group that will really dig into the specifics on it. We're not looking at doing a bond. We're looking at doing a line of credit or commercial paper, something so we can put a facility in place that may be $200 million, and we may draw $1 million on it just to keep it active. And then we'll pull the cash down when we need to. There's a fee to have a facility like that, but it's less than doing a long-term borrowing. So we'll do something like that to keep us working and keep work going. And we'll bring that back to the committee as soon as we're ready.
And you have borrowing capacity now freed up?
This is a separate, it doesn't work like our other borrowings for COPS, which is leveraging property taxes. This is a separate revenue stream, so we can borrow against the sales tax. So it's a $1.3 billion sales tax referendum. We're talking about borrowing $200 to $300 million, and every bank I'm talking about is waiting in line to bid on it. So there's no issue with that. We borrowed $300 million for the last sales tax that was only supposed to bring in $520 million. So we could borrow significantly more than we are. It really comes down to how quickly can work be done. And it's a really tight labor market right now for this type of work. So we've had discussions here. Even if I gave them and said, here's $600 million, it's hard to get all that work done right now. It's just people aren't bidding. So it's, we're gonna put work out. We're gonna borrow based on the needs. Financing should not be driving how fast the work is going. Okay. Okay, and then this is the summary for the projects. And what we point out is there's no changes since the last meeting. Normally we come in and if there are any changes, we go through those one by one, and there are no proposed plan modifications for this quarter. So everything's continuing as it has been. We're just continuing to spend money. I've added a column here. It was a question that came up internally. So we're showing the expenditures today. We're also listing the opening purchase orders, and this is as of earlier this week. We went over this with the Finance Committee last week, a different format that they don't see it like this, but they see just the summary of revenues and expense. They don't get into projects. But we had a question afterwards at staff level, how much is encumbered. So we've added that on. I think it's good for y'all to have that information so you can see not only what's already been spent, but what's under contract. Now, that really covers the information in the reports. I can pull up the individual reports. You all have said you don't really need to see them. I've got them ready. They were out there, and if you don't need to see them, we won't go there. We'll just continue on with the updates. And we have 2 slides from facilities, and I don't know if Dave or Wanda want to walk through that, or if you want me to do it.
You're welcome to.
Okay, you'll get the same voice then. The facility renewal projects, 22 schools coming up for this fiscal year. 10 of them are continued from last summer. We're continuing to work on those, and we're adding 12 more schools. A lot of times these projects take 2 years because we're doing the work just over summers and spring breaks and winter breaks, so we're not inconveniencing the students and teachers and rest of staff. So it's taking a little longer to do the work based on that type of structure. And this kind of just goes through the type of work we're doing, whether it's building envelope, HVAC is a big topic right now, sound systems, interior improvements, playgrounds, parking lots. Other things we're working on at those schools have roof replacements, dealing with CSIR, which is Comprehensive Safety Inspection Reports, and ADA, American Disabilities, making sure we get those violations taken care of. Intercom system, play courts, the things that were on the referendum list, that's what we're doing at all the schools. We're also working on security projects, and a number of major construction projects are getting started. The Verdi Elementary School replacement, Washington, West Tech remodel, South Tech. That's actually a deferred maintenance project, and we talked about that at a prior meeting, that instead of putting all the money into the South Tech building, that's going to be demolished, and we've moved the campus into Odyssey. So we're using the money to make some improvements at Odyssey for the school. So that's the list of what they're working on. And this is the list of the individual schools, so you can see the 10 schools from last summer, continuing to work on those, and the 12 schools that will be working on this coming summer. Is there any questions on the facility projects?
Yeah, actually, I've got one for Dave. Have we had any projects go from start to finish yet to be able to have kind of a reality of real costs versus what we budgeted idea of where prices are?
No, we have not had anything to date. We have the 10 that you see there at the end of this summer. We will be able to qualify those.
Okay.
But no, there aren't any full-size projects where we can identify cost comparisons.
Have we done any roofs or anything that have gone from kind of a budget to full payment?
They're part of the overall
they're
project for a
part, yeah.
school.
Okay.
We've pulled projects forward to
Right.
make them, get them done as quickly as possible.
Okay, I think when you have that full completion of one or two, it'd be good to do a study and present here, because one of the things this committee is going to be looking at is construction inflation, how far will our dollars go, and that'll be a good barometer.
Yes.
Okay, now I brought you some new information. We've not talked about technology yet, and we've got some new videos that are really nice, and I thought it'd be good to see all that. I'm sorry.
Oh, you had a question, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, there was a question?
Yeah, I was looking at the 10 schools that we was already working on. Were those projects completed? Are they still in process?
There, as Ms. Evans referred to, that they are 2 summer projects. So we started them last summer. We've been working at each of those 10 schools during the course of the school year, times that aren't inconveniencing the students, and we would anticipate that they'll be done this summer. All deferred maintenance projects, these facility renewals.
Still in process?
Yeah, so that those 10 schools will continue through this summer.
I have no question.
It's coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, some of that work would really, I mean, we have to move everybody out of the classrooms to do the work, so it's really difficult to do when school's in session. So it really means the projects are taking longer, but it's better for the kids to do it this way.
Not only that, but realize that our summers are truncated now, and so we have to have a very aggressive timeline in the summer to make sure that we finish the work. So again, you know, originally it was like over 3 summers. We've tried to reduce it to 2 summers. And it's really all about speed to market, trying to get the work out there to kind of balance inflation that eventually comes.
The 12 schools are going to be a 2-summer project also?
11 of them will be 2 summers. The Palm Beach Lakes High School may end up taking 3.
Okay,
The
but
high school
nothing less than 2.
Nothing less than 2, correct.
The 12 will start this summer and go to next summer. The
That's-
10 will finish this summer.
Correct.
My
That is
question.
correct.
Start this summer, okay.
Okay, so we're bringing information on education technology, and we have Adam Miller here today down at the end, and I'm going to let him answer any questions you have. But I wanted to bring this to you. Classroom technology is it's about $100 million worth of the sales tax revenues. So what they're doing with that money to start with is putting interactive flat panels in at the schools, and that work started August 27th. And you can see as of October 31st, they've got 858 of those units out at 59 schools. They're planning to have 2,500 out by the end of the school year. And before I do anything else, I want to show you, there's 2 videos that came out that really explain what these are and how they're being used. And I want to show those so you can get a flavor for how the money's being spent.
Remember, the search key is the magnifying glass on the left-hand side of the keyboard.
We've trained over 1,000 new Trailblazers for the school district, and we have about 700 from last year.
So if you hold all 3 of those down at the same time, it brings up a keyboard.
We're the school district with the most number of Google certified educators in the world. Each of those Trailblazers are receiving a Chromebook cart filled with Chromebooks to integrate technology with their students in their classroom.
Refresh, start anew.
Also, the teachers this year will be receiving instructional flat panels, and they'll be the first ones in the district receiving those thanks to referendum funds.
We want to make sure that all of our classrooms are outfitted with the latest technology. Our teachers are really going to like this, and it's going to benefit and make their lessons come to life.
Where is it? Where is it? They can learn on their own speed with their own time because they have their own computer in front of them. So having them, providing them with a Chromebook here is huge.
Some people don't have internet, some people don't have computers. So to be able to do the work in the classroom on these devices, it's very helpful because there's no excuse as to why you couldn't do it.
Tap this. The Technology Trailblazer Program is really important because not only do my students get access to technology that's going to set them up for the real world, it sets them up so that we can actually visualize a lot of the complicated equations and tasks that we're doing.
And the students are really driving their own learning using different technology, whether it's Chromebooks or flat panels or any other technology like dock cameras in the classrooms that we have. And the really goal is for these Trailblazers to to be the leaders in their schools and train the rest of their peers. And instead of them just becoming consumers, we want them to use all this new technology to create ways to solve problems, and maybe even new technologies. That's the workforce of the future, and that's our goal.
Okay, let me go to the next one, and then I want to add a comment in.
Call them interactive flat panels.
So we know 2 of them up here.
Others call them smart boards.
So 67% of you said A, B, C, and D.
But everyone calls them a great way
Really cool tool to use.
to bring the newest technology into the classroom.
It's easier for most kids. Like, I'm a visual learner. Like, I like seeing things on like a screen.
11,000 screens will be in classrooms in the next few years thanks to the money raised from the penny sales tax increase passed by voters in 2016. From Spanish
¿Qué más tienes? ¿Un gato?
to science.
If I had this iron brick,
The smart boards display animation and videos. Using smart ink, teachers write in the correct answers. Text can be highlighted. At Wellington Landings Middle School, a lesson on World War I. Then an interactive quiz where students input answers and compete in teams.
Icebreakers, here we go. You're about almost halfway.
When they get to pull out a Chromebook or they get to go and use the interactive flat panel, it's so much more exciting to them than handing them a piece of paper and a pencil and a worksheet.
The teachers who already have smart boards have spent several hours training on the devices, learning skills like setting up a teleconference.
How do you motivate yourself to get your work done?
With the new technology, students and teachers literally have the whole world in their hands.
Do we want to play with Google Earth now?
Yes!
I'm Rick Blackwell for the Education Network, keeping you informed.
Now, I showed 2 videos. The laptops, the Chromebooks are not funded with a sales tax. They can't be. It's not considered infrastructure, but it's important because those link in with those interactive flat panels that are funded with the sales tax. And it all works with the Trailblazer Program, which is how we're training and incentivizing teachers to get involved. And I wanted Adam to talk just a little bit about how all that works. He was on the video too, so.
Sure, yeah. Thanks for 10 for making me sound very smart. I love those videos. So yeah, the Trailblazer program, we're really looking at, we're investing a lot in technology over the next number of years in our classrooms. We want to make sure teachers are able to use that technology to the utmost, and of course the students getting their hands on them. But that takes a lot of training. So we conceptualized a Trailblazer program, which is basically a train-the-trainer model. We identify lead teachers in every school, and we train them on basics. Either Google Classroom, Google Drive, other technology programs, as well as how to use this hardware, and then they're better able to be prepared to use that technology in the classroom with their students. And it's been very, very successful. We actually have, we set a certain number of Trailblazers. We have principals constantly asking us for more, and we actually have a Trailblazer training going on right now next door. So it's a wonderful program.
Yeah, I saw in the video that we have more Google certified teachers than any other district in the world.
Yes, we do.
Pretty
Yes, we
impressive.
do. As of the summer, we had 750 Google certifications in this district, and now we're over 1,400. It just continues to grow, and that's more than any other district anywhere.
Is it proposed to have a flat panel in every classroom of the entire district?
Every instructional area, yes. And there's different sizes. What you saw there is the standard 75-inch. That'll be most classrooms. That's appropriate for the size of most classrooms. We do have 65-inchers. They're more appropriate for smaller instructional areas. And then we have 86-inch flat panels that are for media centers and larger areas.
When's the completion of purchasing and installation of all the flat panels?
2.5 years.
Wow, that's fast.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I like
Good
the
project, I
model.
think.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, I noticed you said teleconference. Is that in-house, or will you be able to interrelate with other schools?
Sure. What you saw in the video was Google Hangouts, so that could go anywhere around the world, connect with anyone.
Great.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I've taught architecture at a bunch of schools, and they call me in, they want to, what's architects do? I mean, I could see doing the Google Hangouts with any classroom in the district that just pops into my computer, and I just talk with the kids about what architecture is about.
The power of the technology is wonderful.
Mr. Chair, the demo that they did for the TAC committee was just phenomenal with the unit, and it raises up and down, goes back. For teachers that are maybe height challenged, or you may have a student come up to work the whiteboard that's in a wheelchair, or work the whiteboard. I'm sorry, work the smartboard. So it shows you where I've been. Yeah, and bring the smartboard down, at their level and stuff. So it's really kind of neat, and just all the functions that we were demonstrated with that was phenomenal.
Can you play Wii golf on it too?
I'm sure you can.
Tennis.
Just a question. In 2.5 years, you think to have them all, is that 11,000 that they were talking about?
Yes.
Okay, because 2,500 by the end of the year, but like 11,000 ultimately?
Sure. So we're starting with our Trailblazers this year, and we're doing a lot of learning about the training and then the delivery and getting them up and running in the schools, and we're going to use that that learning to help ramp up next year to install more.
Have you had anybody use a Sharpie on one yet, thinking it's a board?
I could tell you some stories when I was a teacher about that, but no, we have not heard of that yet, and hopefully won't.
Do we have a maintenance program that's going to maintain and replace these over time?
Yes.
Is that budgeted?
That is budgeted. We actually have, the referendum includes money to put these all in and enough money to replace them towards the end of the 10-year window. So you're going to see a lot come in the first couple of years, and then the spending will stop for a few years, and then it will ramp back up at the very end. These are supposed to last somewhere between 8 to 10 years, and I've heard they may last longer. I honestly don't believe that with technology. It's constantly changing, but the intention is to have these in the classroom, and then towards the end of the referendum, replace it with whatever the new technology is at the time.
You mentioned that the Chromebooks were not part of the tax.
Right.
How are the schools paying for Chrome? So each
That's being
student has
funded
the
with other parts of the capital budget. We have a line item in the budget for computers. The definition of infrastructure, which is part of the sales tax, classroom, the computers don't work. Actually, these didn't work at first. One of the reasons we waited till August of this year, we were originally going to do overhead projectors that were wired into the ceiling. That's considered infrastructure. And then as we got ready to do this, the IT department came up and said, that's now old school. We need to be moving in this direction. We had to get a legislative change done to allow us to purchase these with the referendum. So that happened with this with the last legislative session. The law kicked in July 1, and they were rolling out on August 27th. So everything was queued up and ready to go.
Mr. Chair, as far as the maintenance, if I'm not mistaken, the demonstration was done here. That is an actual computer, not just a monitor that you're seeing. So all the internal parts on that are fluid that can be changed as technology, or say, you need more RAM down the road as the programs become more, RAM dependent. So all that can be changed within the unit as time goes on, as technology changes.
So there's a built-in hard drive, and then I guess it's also a lot of cloud-based
So there's a
lesson plans.
Yeah, there's a computer on the back of the panel. So the panel itself actually can run Android apps and things like that. It's got its own operating system, but it's hooked up to a Dell computer, so that can be updated. And then, of course, it connects to the web and can do everything that a Chromebook can do and more.
Susan, do you have any at Dreyfus yet?
We have 14.
And how has it been received by teachers and students?
They love them. Teachers love them. Kids love them. Yeah. It's exactly what you saw in the video.
I think one of the best things we've done is rolling it out through the Trailblazer program. So the teachers come in to do training and become Google certified, and that's when they get the cart of Chromebooks. So they've already been educated in how to do that, and then the flat panel comes in and they get training on that as well. You have it in an average of 14 classrooms per school, and then all the other teachers are going to see it and learn from those teachers. So it's a train-the-trainer model, and more people will want it. So we expect that it's going to be really exciting when we start rolling it out to everyone.
And I have to say this, Adam, so don't kill me, but I think one of the issues we need to look at with that is when a teacher becomes a Trailblazer and they change schools, they should be able to take their software and computer with them. Because I currently have a Trailblazer who had to leave their laptops, and now they're being hindered by my school by not having one, even though they've been trained by it. So we're trying to work those issues out. But
And we're
Nice that
supporting
they
with
go
that.
with them as long as they are. Yeah, you've been very supportive with that, so thank you.
And if I could add for that last video of the teacher with the Google Earth and she was spinning, that was actually the first classroom in the district that we had the flat panels roll out to. The panel was in the room for 3 minutes before that's all it took to set it up. And she was actually in the middle of a lesson and she stopped and jumped right back into lesson on the panel. And it was just amazing to see integration right there.
By pushing out so much technology, how's it stressing the IT department? Did you have to expand? How about the Trailblazers? That's a workload that they're taking on in training people. How does that?
Actually, Adam's department is the one doing all the training, the Ed Technology group.
Correct. The Department of Education Technology is handling all the training, and we're working with curriculum, teaching and learning as well to make sure the integration is there. But we are working closely with IT, our IT department, and they've been an integral part of this process all the way through.
Part of the sales tax is increasing the infrastructure for technology, so more, and I'm going to get the term wrong, but SANs and all kinds of different backup systems. And if that's something you're interested in, I can have somebody from IT come in and talk. They're getting ready to ramp up the new phone system, which was one of the line items in the referendum as well. That's going to be voice over IP. We're very intrigued because that blends into security for the buildings. So there's a lot of work being done across departments right now to make sure everything is working together.
So when that goes into effect, we won't be able to get a hold of anybody.
No, you'll be able to get a hold of anybody anytime. So I think it's going to make it a lot better.
Just to add to, we haven't really added staff to do this, but as part of the contract with the flat panels, the company installing them is helping, roll these out in tandem with our guys and ladies. But so we've got some staff augmentation basically through the contract.
Any other questions on technology? Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, so last slide. Just a reminder, the next meeting is currently scheduled for February 28th. I will go ahead this afternoon and send out the calendar items for all of 2019. But on the second page of your agenda, the back of your agenda has the meeting dates for all of 2019. I didn't want to bombard your calendar with future meetings too early, but I'll get those out today. And we are going to, we noticed that everyone's badges are expiring. So we're going to go through, and when I send an email out with the minutes today, I'm going to ask you to reply back with your mailing address. So we'll get new badges and mail them to you, because it looks like a lot of people's badges will expire before the February 28th date. So if I can get a current mailing address from everybody, we'll get those badges mailed out to you. And with that, I don't have anything else. I just wanted to say have a Happy New Year. It seems early to say it, but I won't see many of you until February. So enjoy the holidays.
Anything else by anyone? No, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you very much.